If you use Photoshop's layer comps to create multiple rollover graphics, you can take advantage of the special lynda.com layer comps to slices script to export all of the rollover graphics at once. To recap what I've done so far to the file that you see here, I've created 2 different layer comps for the 4 buttons in this navigation bar, and you can see those layer comps in the Layer Comps panel. If you're following along and your Layer Comps panel isn't open, you can open it from the Window menu at the top of the screen. With the normal layer comps selected here in the Layer Comps panel, the buttons in the navigation bar are displayed in their normal state, with this white gel style applied to each one. If I go back to the Layer Comps panel and I click to the left of the Over state, you can see the way that the 4 buttons look in the Over layer comp. They have this green gel style. In addition to applying layer comps to the buttons, I've sliced this navigation bar, making a separate slice around each button, and I've given the button slices meaningful names. And then I optimized all the slices as GIFs in Photoshop's Save for Web and Devices dialog box. So that's a recap. Now I'd like to save out 2 different graphics from each one of these slices, a white version for the normal state of each of the 4 buttons, and a green version for the over state of each button. Then I could bring all 8 of those graphics into a website building program like Dreamweaver, where I could program them to roll over. I'm going to use the lynda.com layer comps to slices script to export all of these graphics by going up to the File menu at the top of the screen, and down to Scripts, and over to Layer Comps to Slices. By the way, if you don't see the Layer Comps to Slices menu item in your Scripts menu, then go back and listen to the preceding movie about how to install the lynda.com script so that the Layer Comps to Slices item will appear in that menu. The first thing that the script asks me is to select a folder in which to keep all of the optimized files that the script is going to make for me. I'll do that in this Choose a Folder window by navigating to my desktop, and there I'll make a new folder by clicking the New Folder button. I'll name it Rollovers, and I'll click Create. To run the script, I'll click Choose. Now I'll go out to my desktop to see what the script made for me. There's the Rollovers folder that I just created, and if I open that, I see inside an Images folder that the script made for me. Inside the Images folder are these many GIFs. Each of these GIFs came from one of the slices in the image, and they were saved out in web-ready GIF format because that's the format that I chose when I optimized each slice in Photoshop's Save for Web and Devices window. If I had optimized any of the slices as JPEGs or PNGs, then I would see those here as well. Notice that some of these files have meaningful names, like boardsbuttanover.gif and boardsbutton.gif. Those 2 files are 2 versions of the button that the script created from the slice that I had named Boards Button. And the same is true for the Gear Button slice, the Swim Button slice, and the Videos Button slice, which generated videosbuttanover.gif and videosbutton.gif. The rest of these GIFs that don't have meaningful names were made from the auto slices in the file. I'll open some of the named GIFs so you can see what they are. I'll select boardsbuttanover.gif, and then I'll hold the Shift key and select gearbutton.gif, and that selects all 4 of those files. To open them all in Photoshop, I'll double-click any one of the selected files. Here in Photoshop is gearbutton.gif, which is the white version of the Boards button in its normal state. If I click the tab on this gearbuttonover.gif, I see the gear button in its over state with the green gel style. And the same is true for boardsbutton.gif, which is the white version in the normal style, and boardsbuttanover.gif, which is the over version of the Boards button in its green gel style. So now that I have all these rollover graphics, how would I make them into working rollover buttons? One way would be to bring both versions of each button into Dreamweaver, and there create an HTML page and place the buttons on that page, then have Dreamweaver add JavaScript that would swap one version of a button for the other when a viewer moused over the button in a web browser. So that's how you can use the special Layer Comps to Slices script to output multiple rollover graphics all at once. We hope you'll make good use of that script in your own work.